Sand shading is accomplished with a cast iron skillet. The smaller the diameter of the skillet, the quicker the sand becomes hot enough to shade the veneer. Most sand works well, but finer grains produce more even shading. A hot plate is ideal for the shading process. Lower settings take time to attain a shading temperature, while higher temperatures work more rapidly. For this demonstration, Rob uses maple veneer pieces for shading and a black dyed veneer for the scalloped ends.
At first, I just start off with one, just to get an idea of how it's doing, so that I can gauge. Now that I know more what's going on, I can put more in. And sometimes you'll get an area of the hot plate that's hotter than another, and you have to.
Well, that one I was watching, you could almost see it rising up out of the sand.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. Sometimes you can see. Yeah, you can actually see it. And on these here, I don't worry too much either, because I can plane them a little bit. Well, if you have a lot of sand, it just takes a lot longer to get it hot, so I don't use any more than I need to. That one could go in for a little longer.
I guess the whole idea of variations in this is going to what makes it. When you're laying them out, do you look for?
I try to keep it as uniform as possible.
Okay.
And it depends on the inlay too. Some of the fans don't have those black scallops at the end, and for some reason they look better when they're just very lightly shaded. For some reason, when you put the scallops on the end, they look better when they're more heavily shaded, like this.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, and I don't know why that is, but it is. And I just, pick what I think is good, and sometimes I'll also, sometimes they look better if the sand shading's not parallel to this.
All the way through.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right.
So I'm playing a little taper in them sometimes.
I got you.
So that's a little bit wider at the back than it is at the front, or however you want to.
So these aren't necessarily just cut in half; they're just done. You're just pulling off the two edges.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And then I'll get the block out here in a minute that's got the pattern drawn on it, and that's where that we cut the shape. Okay, I got that. That quadrant line there that tells me where I'm at, so I'll put it on here.
So you're just starting at the first section.
Yeah, first section. And the only thing I really have to pay attention to is that when I add other sections, I always have a shaded edge against a non-shaded edge, because I've made them before and forgot that. And that's the first piece, and then I can just flip this one around. Well, it didn't quite cut as clean as I'd like it to. There we go.
Rob cuts 2 additional fan rays that are joined together, then adds that set to the first set, again using veneer tape. Then he trims the excess tape and is ready for the next step. Rob uses his compass to draw the arc on the inlay. Next, he'll use a gouge to trim away the excess and form the fan scallops.
I just line up the radius of the gouge.
No kidding. Oh, wow. Well, you're not really caring to get to the end either. All you're doing is looking for the shape to match.
Right.
I gotcha.
Just bust those apart there. Cut it away right there.
So all you're really looking to do is get this from corner to corner.
Corner, right.
And even that doesn't have to be so, perfectly dead on.
No, because you'll, then I would just leave that dry, for a few hours.
Yeah. Rob again uses a compass to outline the arc. Rob uses a file to bring the cut right to his line. Rob heats a pipe with the diameter about the size of the needed bend, then bends wet stringing over the pipe using a piece of shim stock to keep the string from fracturing. Rob uses push pins to hold the pieces in position as they dry. The inlay is assembled on a board covered with packing tape. This prevents the inlay from sticking to the board.
And the only thing I have to watch is I don't drive the pins down too tight because the moisture from the glue will compress that veneer and that banding, and it'll leave a permanent dent in it. I found that out the hard way.
So you're not just using those to hold it in, you're actually using the pin to actually clamp it down to the board.
Yeah, because if I leave this, well, you saw that one, how much it warped. If I leave them unrestrained,
it'll move up.
It'll warp. So I have to keep them restrained until I'm ready to glue them in.
Thanks, Rob. That's a great technique for creating a sand shaded fan. We look forward to using it in some of our furniture as well.